Carolyn Zook here with Zook Stitch, and today I'm going to go over my 2024 plans with you all. We had a planning meeting, a 2024 Zoom meeting. When was that? I think it was back in October, and that was really fun. A lot of great tips that were shared, and I'm going to share some of those tips that came up in that Zoom meeting with you for those of you who maybe couldn't make it. And if I am missing anything or you have tips of your own, feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. Let me start off by saying planning is not for everyone. Some people get very stressed out by it, so it might not be for you, and that's okay. There's no rules. There's nobody says that you have to plan out your stitching. Some people want to stitch whatever they feel like stitching in the moment, and that's fine. Please understand that planning and organizing for me is a hobby. I enjoy it. I get a lot of joy from planning, from looking at my calendar. I write in pencil on my calendar so I can erase it and change plans and all of that. And that's another key thing to remember is that plans can change, right? And so don't worry about it. It's not a reflection on you or anything. We just need to, I like planning because it gives me a goal to work towards. And that's what it does for me, and that's why I enjoy it. But some people feel stressed out by it. And that's okay. You don't have to do it my way. You don't have to do it anybody else's way. You can take some of what I say today and make it work for you. That's really important because the amount of time I get to stitch might look very different from the amount of time that you get to stitch. So please keep that in mind as well, especially when you're watching what other people are doing. Time is a bit, as you know, we never have enough time for stitching. So we could all use all the time in the world to stitch, and that probably still wouldn't be enough time. So when I go into this, I'm going to talk a little bit about the groups I'm going to be doing, the challenges I'm going to be doing, and all that. But first of all, I already did a first of all. Second of all, figure out what will work for you. Be realistic about your time. Some people work a lot and are just so exhausted after work that stitching in the evenings after work isn't realistic because you're tired. You just can't, you have a lot to do. You have to get up in the next morning and go to work. So it might not be realistic for you to make plans based on stitching every single day. And maybe you are able to stitch all weekend long. Some of you might be retired and be able to stitch, 7-8 hours a day. So your time would look different than somebody who maybe doesn't have that time. In that same vein, there might be periods of time where work gets in the way, where you're really busy. I know that, you might know like a certain period of time, like the end of the month when reports are due or whatever it is that maybe it's busier at work and you won't have as much time to dedicate to stitching, and that's okay. But plan for that. Don't expect that you'll be able to do the same amount of stitching when you're really busy and exhausted from work or life or whatever is going on, travel, as you do when things are in their normal routine. So just keep that in mind. And if you are planning on joining any of the groups or the challenges, this is a good time to do it because a lot of them will be opening up for the new year. But also know that planning, even if you're not doing the challenge groups, but planning in general can take several months or years even to figure out what works for you. You can plan it out for a year. I actually recommend planning it out 1 month in advance and see how that works for you. And if it doesn't work, then assess and adjust for the next month. So that the idea is that you're being successful, whatever that means for you in meeting whatever your goals are. And that might look like, I want to stitch 2 days this month, right? If we're just getting back into it or we're recovering from a surgery or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind that when you're first starting out, if you aren't quite sure what you're able to accomplish, start out slow, start out small, do 1 week ahead, and just see how it goes and adjust as needed. Also remember, don't overextend yourself. This is a hobby for most of us. Hobbies are supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be enjoyable. They're supposed to be relaxing. So don't make your plans so solid that they can't be changed when life intervenes, because life will intervene. We can do all we want for planning for it, but things are going to come up throughout the year that we don't plan for, because that's just life. That's how it happens. And so our plans need to be flexible, and we need to not beat ourselves up if we don't make those plans. And like I said, there are a lot of groups out there. I'm in a few of them, not a lot of them. There are so many more that I'm going to talk about in this video. Try them out. See if it works for you. See what motivates you. This is, again, like I said, this is a great time to just try things out and see if it will work for you or not. And again, just remember that our time and our life, it ebbs and flows. Right? Again, we might have more or less time throughout the year. You might be moving, you might encounter an illness, anything like that, that can interrupt our plans. And that's fine. That's just how life goes. And at the end of the day, it's just cross stitch. It's not the end of the world if we don't meet all our plans or our goals. It's completely fine. That said, I love planning. So I am going to jump into my plans for 2024. First of all, let me show you the calendars that I'll be using. I'm going to be using 2 of them this year. So I had this one. This is my 2-year planner for 2024 and 2025. I bought this, I don't know, earlier this year to get ready. And then Lori Sykes from My Crazy Life came out with the Cross Stitchers Planner for 2024. And this is great because this has, I did a review of it, but it has retreat pages in the back where you can keep track of all of your retreat. Here's the retreat week so that you can plan things out. I mean, it's really designed by a cross stitcher for cross stitchers. There are also little charts in here. There's, I think, 12 or 13 charts. Nice big blocks to fill in for your stitching. Lots of note pages, all of that. So I'll be using both of these. She also has stickers on her Etsy site. So I'll tag her, or I'll link her Etsy shop below if you are interested in getting your hands on one of these. They are also sold in Canada through Evertotes, and they are sold, I think, through Colorado Cross Stitcher as well as her Etsy site. So that's that planner, and this one I just got off of Amazon. But this one, I mean, it does have note pages, but it's not a stitching calendar, right? Like, there's nothing about retreats in here, anything like that. It's just a monthly calendar. So I'm going to use both of those this year. I'm just going to dump things down on the side. So let's start with my plans. Obviously, I'm going to participate in Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, which I think it's already linked below. For this group, which I co-run with my dear friend Robin Hall of Bird's Eye Stitches, you don't have to stitch from magazines. I know it's in the name. It is encouraged. The group was designed to help us pull those magazines off the shelf with all those flags in it and stitch it, but we don't kick anybody out if they aren't stitching from magazines. It's just we want to encourage you to do that. To stitch from those magazines. There are some prompts that might be specific to a magazine during the year, but for the most part, nothing is, you don't have to stitch through magazines. It is open all year round. You can join us at any time during the year. It does not close at the new year. You can jump in whenever you feel ready. You can jump in and observe for a little bit, and then when you're ready, come on in. So it's open year round, so feel free to join at any time. We do monthly Zoom calls. It's usually the last Saturday of the month at the same time, which is 9 a.m. to about 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And those are always fun. Just come relax. You can stitch. We don't really have an agenda. It's just stitch, chat. If you need help planning for your next month, you can ask questions, things like that. There are monthly themes and acrostics that we put out. So there's a theme and then there's an acrostic. You set your own goals, you pick your own projects. Several people try to have their theme be from a magazine. So that's kind of like a personal challenge that we kind of encourage, like, can your theme be from a piece from a magazine? But again, it's not required. It's not a requirement to be in the group. We're pretty relaxed and chill about that. But like I personally try to have my magazine or my theme be from a magazine, and then my acrostic is just whatever I'm working on. So those come out each month. They are released on the 15th of the month for the following month. So you get a couple weeks to prepare and to plan. We also do pop-up challenges that are 7 days each. Most months, I shouldn't say every month. Most months we have a pop-up challenge that is about a week long. You can win prizes and all that. Those challenges are usually 5 hours or 500 stitches for the whole week total. And then it's whatever the prompt is, whatever the theme is for that pop-up challenge during the week. And then probably what we're most known for, honestly, is our 2 month-long challenges that we have. One is in January, which is called Bringo, and one is in September called ABC-Ngo. So these are bingo type games where the January one, we give you the prompts, and so you get 25 prompts. You fill in whatever project fits that prompt or projects. You can reuse them. Have one project for all the prompts if that works for you. And it's 1 hour or 100 stitches each day that the prompt is called. And so we do 25 days of that, and then you get the last 6 days of the month to finish up. If you got behind one day or you weren't able to stitch one day or whatever, you still have those days at the end of the month to get caught up on your stitching. And then again, you can enter to win prizes. So Bringo has dedicated prompts that you need to follow. ABC-Ngo, which is in September, which is for back to school, that's why it's ABC. We just take the alphabet, and it's like a giant acrostic using the alphabet. So you make your projects fit the letters as you can. We do take out one letter each year. It's random which letter we will eliminate each year. So we won't know that. We'll release that sometime in probably early August, so you have time to plan. But again, ABC-Ngo is 1 hour of stitching or 100 stitches for each of the prompts. And again, you get the last, 5-6 days of September to finish up anything if you got behind. So those are, I think, what we're most known for. We do get a big influx of participants in the months leading up to January and September. Okay, Simon's going to join us for this planning video. Anything else I want to say about Magazine Monthly Challenge? I think I said everything I wanted to say about that. And you are welcome to do some of those or all of those in the Magazine Monthly Challenge. If you just want to do an acrostic and theme, you can just do that. If you just want to join for Bringo in January, you can do that as well. But we think it's fun. It's a really fun community. And the Zoom calls are always nice and fun and kind of kooky because we're all just fun. We're just there to have fun. Okay, now I'm going to get to the Melanie Watkins section of my plans because Melanie Watkins is all over. Her brain is just so smart for figuring out all these ideas that she has. One of the things I do with Melanie Watkins group is 25/7. She has a cross stitch group. It is called Cross Stitch 25/7. The idea is that you stitch for 25 minutes or put in 25 stitches each day on a project. And I think it was intended to just for people to, hey, even if you can't stitch for hours each day, maybe you can put in a few stitches each day. I think that was the intent behind it. What for me, how I use it, hold on, I'm gonna take care of Mr. Simon here. And we'll be back. Okay, I think we're back. That took longer than expected. He just needed some cuddles. So thanks for humoring us. Anyway, so I was talking about the 25/7. So 25/7, it is an open group. It's open year round. It's great. The way I use it is I use it to push forward a piece that I've been working on. There's really no rules around it other than aim for 25 minutes or 25 stitches. That's really the only rule. What I like to do with that group is I usually pick one piece for the month and work on it 25 minutes a day before I start my main stitching. So that's how I use it. And then at the end of the month, I usually get around 12 hours. I track time, not stitches. So I usually get around 12 hours extra put in this piece by just working on it about 25 minutes a day. So that's really, I mean, it's really a great way to kind of push forward a piece. Or if you are struggling to fit in stitching and you want to stitch more, it might be a way to try to fit in to start to kind of get back into it. So I really like that group. It's very relaxed. It's very chill. You can upload photos of your, I'm really bad at uploading photos, but you can upload photos of your progress. And it's really up to you what you choose for your 25/7 piece. So I've really enjoyed that group. So thank you, Melanie, for opening that up. And I believe that one is open year round for you to join at any time. Then the other one that I do that's also by Melanie Watkins is Year of Whips. That is through her Facebook group, Soulful Stitching. And again, I'll link all of this below. That one does close. So it's a year-long event. I'll also link a video. I'll link the Facebook group below, but she did a video recently, her most recent Flosstube video, where she explains what she's doing for Year of Whips for 2024. So I'll link that video down below so you can check it out as well. You pick your projects. For next year, it has to be a minimum of 8 projects that you need to pick. And the goal is to finish half of those, 4 of those. So it starts January 18th and it runs through December 18th. So it's really 11 months. Her birthday is January 18th. That's where she came up with that date. And then it ends December 18th because she needs a couple of weeks at the end of the year to like go through because you can win a prize if you finish at least half of your whips. Then you could be entered to win a prize from her, which is very generous of her. So, that is Year of Whips. And what I want to do now is I want to show you my Year of Whip pieces for next year. So this year, we only had to pick 6 and finish 3. I picked 12, I think, and I've now finished all 12. So that's good because I really only had to finish half of whatever I picked. And then, so next year she's upping it a little bit. And I think it's because she wanted us to finish 4 in 2024. I think that's the reasoning. But yeah, so let me show you what I picked for my Year of Whips. I have this year, or next year rather, I have 14 projects, I think. I think that's where I ended up with, was 14. It's going to be a busy year. But some of these I just want to get done, or some of these I think I can get done anyway. And some of these are new starts that I haven't even started yet. A couple of them are anyway. So these are not in any particular order. What I did do is I went through my list and my whip list, and I tried to, not all of them, certainly, but I tried to pick a few of them at least that were older just to get them done. Because like I'll start them and then I like them and I want to finish them, but I will then just, let it languish. Okay, so there's going to be zippers, there's going to be bags, because there's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of all this if I don't put them back after I show it to you. So first up is Jan Hicks Creates E Pluribus Unum. This is stitched on a 32 count color and cotton in the color Eggnog. It is actually quite perfect. It is not the called for, but it's very close. I started this year, and I really haven't worked on it more. So I have quite a bit. A lot of these, I have quite a bit of stitching to do on them. So this is where I'm at on E Pluribus Unum. But once I get this field of stars done, I think it will go pretty quick. And this one I am going to pull out anytime there's like a U.S. like federal holiday, like patriotic type holiday, I am going to pull this one out. So it's going to come out several times anyway this year. So I thought, why not add that to the list? Okay, next is, what is this one? Home of a Needleworker, which I started with my friend Candy from the 614 Stitcher. And it's this piece by Little House Needleworks, Home of a Needleworker. This chart was sent to me from Sandy. She sent me a whole bunch of charts to either keep or give away. So I thought, I've been wanting this chart. I've been wanting to stitch it. So I'm going to keep it, and then I'll give it away when I'm done. I don't know. Oh, here's the fabric. It is stitched on Atomic Ranch Fabrics 32 count in Mellowstone. And this is where I'm at. So this one I just started in September, so it's not an older piece. And you can see I replaced the crow with 2 kitty cats, and I took out the house that was under the H. So we'll see how that goes. And I put the little heart in. These cats and the heart are from a chart by Lynette Peters. Carolyn and Her Cats is the name of the chart. And so I just took the cats from there. And I put them in colors. This is 310 for Jack. And this is, I don't know what color it is, maybe 844 for Simon. He's a gray tabby. They're so cute. So I'd like to finish that one and get it hung up in my craft room. All right, next up, this is another one I started this year. I promise I do have some older ones in here. But we're just doing apparently all the new ones right now. What's going on with my zipper here? Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So this one is Black Cat Season by Lindy Stitches. She released this year. There are 6 total charts, and I am doing them all on. It's designed to be like a bell pull. I'm not doing it as a bell pull. I'm doing it as a just like a piece of fabric. This is Grace Notes Fabrics, a Blackberry Latte in 32 count, I believe. Yeah, 32 count. So this was my 25/7 piece for October. So the first one is done. The second one is started. So there are 6 pieces. So I will be doing 3 across and then 2 down. So I'll have plenty of fabric. But this one will take, I mean, when you focus on it, it's not that they're not that big of pieces, but then you have like, oh, you have 6 of them to do. I have 1 done, 1 started. So I would like to finish this. It'd be great to have it done in time for Halloween this year, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. This one, I know a lot of you really love this one, and I really love it too, which is why I put it on my list. Again, this one isn't that old. This is Miniature Marvels by Jenny Vandeweel. That's what that looks like. It is in The World of Cross Stitching, issue 315. This one actually isn't a super big piece. I can show you too. It is 150 high by 151 wide, but it goes so quick because it's just a lot of motifs. I am stitching this on a 28 count Dove Gray. I have a huge piece of fabric here too. Like, this is as wide as it is. And then I just have to work down. But it goes really quick because it's a lot of just little tiny motifs. And look, I have this huge, huge piece of fabric. So we should have plenty of fabric for that. But that is mini, I call it mini marvels, but miniature marvels. So that one I would love to get done and get framed. This one, okay, this is not an old one either. This is another Jan Hicks Creates one. It is Antonia Roselle E. Garcia, 1886. It is a reproduction sampler. It is big. I am stitching this on something. I don't know. Well, if you want to know, I can look it up if you need to know. Anyway, it's a linen of some sort. It kind of looks like vintage smoky white to me. This is where I'm at. And I worked on this earlier in September, and many of you helped me. I got a thread in my mouth. A lot of you helped me figure out, because I want to put my initials in, so I think I'm going to take out the C and the L and put it in the colors that it's supposed to be in, and then just pick one alphabet and do my initial CLZ. So this is where I'm at. I still have quite a bit to go on this one as well, but I would like to get this one done just because it seems like it's the most reasonable sampler to get done. And then I can replace it with another one. Don't worry, I have big starts for next year too. So, all right. Next is going to be a new start. So I think it's 2 new starts that I have yet. So I'm going to do the new starts. So one of the things which I'll talk about in a minute that I'm also doing is Garon's Focus on a Designer. So each month they pick a designer to focus on. So this is, I think it's October. The focus on a designer is Lucy Beam. So I am going to start and finish. It's called Immortal, Buying Cross Stitch Like I'm Immortal. And I think this was a market release earlier this year. Buying Cross Stitch Like I'm Immortal. I just think it's so great. So I'm going to do that as a start and finish, hopefully, this year. The other new start, which I'm going to be starting in January, and this is on my Year of Whips. This is a terrible picture because I haven't had a chance to get a color picture yet, but it's by Historical Sampler Company, and it is called Flower Birth Sampler. You can see the black and white, which leaves a lot to be desired, I know. But I had a friend who just had a baby. This is not the friend's information. I will not be sharing the information once I get that stitched. But it's a really pretty floral. And so I have everything ready to go. This is the fabric. This is one of the fabrics that I bought at Acorns. This is a Belfast linen in pastel lilac. It's very, very faint purple. You can barely see it. And then the colors, I'm just using the called for colors. So look at those. Isn't that going to be pretty? Like, she had a girl. So it's soft, but it's not, I mean, there are some pinks, but it's not necessarily girly, right? I think that will look really, really pretty. And you know I love flowers. So I'm starting that for Bringo. It's one of the prompts for Bringo. And I would like to get that done because the baby has been born. I knew the baby was coming. Did I start this before? No. I knew the baby was coming. We had 9 months to prepare. But I just decided to wait until after the baby was born. All right, the next one, you've seen this one recently. I started this one in September as well for my friend Karen's birthday. This is Bloom and Bouquets by Jeanette Douglas. This is the #1 chart, Thankful. And Karen is making me finish it this year so that at Stitching in the Wild, we can start #2. So this is on 32 count Legacy Linen. And this is where I'm at. I showed this recently because I worked on it this month. So I have a ways to go. And my goal on that one is to finish it before Stitching in the Wild, which would be in September. So we got some focused work to do on a lot of these. Right? Okay. So those are the newer ones. Now we're starting to get into some of the older ones. And this one is a good example. This one I started in February of 2021. I think I worked on it one day and never picked it up, but I really like it. It's called Our Hearts by With a Needle and Thread, Brenda Dubé. It's this piece, and it says, your heart and my heart are very old friends. I think it's darling. I love that sentiment. And I love how the stitches are looking on this fabric. I'm trying to find the tag for the fabric, which I don't know what fabric it is, but let me know if you want to know. Look at how, it's a Lugana, probably 32 count, but that's all I have. I just worked on it one day, and I was like, oh, this is going really fast. And then I haven't worked on it again. And in February, it'll be 3 years. So it's time to get her done, right? Like, it's not that, I mean, it's long, but it's not that big of a piece, right? So that's called Our Hearts. So we're going to get that one done. Then this is another one this one I started in September of 2020 and just haven't worked on a whole lot. This is Beautiful Things by Lindy Stitches. It says, oh, my darling, it's true. Beautiful things have dents and scratches too. I love the sentiment. I love this one. I don't know why I haven't picked it back up. Probably because I get distracted by pretty shiny things. So this is stitched on a 32 count Outback Jack by Bestitch Me. I did work on it a little bit this year. I think I took it to Stitching in the Wild maybe. So I got the leaf done and that, but I have a lot to do on this one. So that's where we're at on that. So that would be good to get that one done. That one might be my focus for Mental Health May. Okay, next is, this is a relatively new one. It's called Trust the Universe. This was a release this year by the Snowflower Diaries. It says Trust the Universe. Does it say when it was released? It does not. I think this was a market release as well this year. I am stitching this on a piece of Fortnite Fabrics Cresting Wave, and this is where I'm at. So you can see there's a bird here. So it's hard to see on camera, but you can see it in person, the bird face there. This is what I started for my Mental Health May this year. Because I just thought it would be nice to have, I work with college students who are very stressed out and anxious. So I thought it'd be kind of nice to put this in my office and be like, trust the universe, kids. Okay, next. Okay, this is an oldie. Has not had a lot of love. This is Princess Ileana. This is a Mirabilia. When did I start this? I started this in August of 2020. So it's over 3 years old. This is what it will look like. When this came out, this used all of the new DMC floss. So this is by Nora Corbett. I did have this started, and then I restarted it on new fabric. So I didn't like my fabric. And of course, I can't find the tag. So let me know if you need to know. It looks like it's a color and cotton piece. And here is where I'm at. And I want to get her done. So pretty. Because she's just been languishing for over 3 years. And it's not even like she has a lot of, she's not been given a lot of love. There's no reason for it. It's not like I'm avoiding it. So we're gonna finish her this year. We have a lot of work ahead of us. It's gonna be a busy year. You're probably gonna see a lot of these 14 projects. Next this is not particularly an old one. This was a gift last Christmas from my friend Andrea that Garan kitted up for her to give to me. This is called 1544 Band Sampler by Works by ABC. Shown here in red, but they know that blue is my favorite color. So they kitted it up in blue silk. This is Chester's Blue Belle Soie by Classic Colorworks. Oh, it's so soft. I love how it feels. And this is where I'm at. It's the fabric that they sent with it on the Belle Pull fabric. I think there's plenty here. But this is where I'm at. And this is another one I started. I started this in February this year. I really love it. I just haven't given it a lot of love. So I'd like to finish that one, and that one should be doable. We'll see. And then last but not least, Glitter House. I started in January of 2021. I just showed this recently too on my Flosstube. And we're going to get it done. So here's where we're at. We have the first 5 houses done. I will be doing number 6 in December this year. So then next year we will just have 7, 8, and 9 to do, and then it'll be done. I'm stitching this on the called for natural opalescent fabric that I really, part of why this one is languishing, if you follow along, is because I really don't like the fabric at all. It's very hard. It's a linen and it's opalescent, so it's very hard for me to see the holes. So those are going to be my year of whips, so you'll be seeing a lot of those this year. Some of those I might use for 25/7 pieces, like the 1544 band sampler. That lends itself really well to making great progress as a 25/7 piece because, there's not a lot of colors. So that's the things I look for when I'm thinking about my 25/7 pieces. What makes for a good 25/7 piece? For me, it's a piece that maybe doesn't have a lot of colors or a lot going on. I have done like beading and stuff before for a 25/7 piece. But for me, generally, I probably wouldn't do that just because it's a lot of work to pull out all the beads and everything for 25 minutes and then to put it away. Not that you have to put it away. You can do more. But the way I do my 25/7 pieces is then I basically work on 2 pieces a day, my 25/7 piece and then my main piece. So like the band sampler is a great piece because it's one color. It's no big deal to pull it out and just work on the one color. Like a Haid, for example, or full coverage, I probably wouldn't do 25/7 just because there's so many colors on that. So that's Year of Whips. So 14. So that would mean I would have to finish 7 of them to be entered to win the prize. But my goal is to actually finish all 14 the best I can. So I'm very motivated by goals. The other inspiration from Melanie Watkins is, this is not a formal group. This is something she is doing kind of for herself, and she has invited me along with her. Well, she didn't invite me. I invited myself along with her, and she said it's perfectly fine for me to join her. So Melanie Watkins is doing what she's calling Countdown to 50, where she is finishing 50 pieces from January 18th of 2024 until she turns 50, January 18th, 2027. I am 2 months younger than Melanie. And yes, I will throw that out there at any time I can that I am younger than Melanie. And so I said, hey, that's a great idea. It's a very big challenge, but it's a great idea. May I join you? And she said, yes, of course. So it will start from March 22nd, my birthday, 2024, and it will go through March 22nd, 2027, to try to finish 50 pieces. So I have a list. I'm not going to show them all to you. Well, I'll tell you. I think all 14 of those that I just showed you are on that list. So I'm doubling up in some ways on that. There are some blanks as well. I think I have like 34 to 36 on my list of Countdown to 50 pieces. And then, there'll be other new starts. I'm like, oh, I want to try to finish this one. So as I show them to you, and when I do my whip parade at the end of this year and all that, I will definitely point out which ones are on my Countdown to 50. Yeah, so it's fun. It's a big challenge, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish these 14. So it ends up being, I think, around 17 finishes each year for the next 3 years, which is quite a lot. Especially when I tend to do bigger pieces, so I might have to add in some smaller ones in there, but we'll see how that goes. So that's the Melanie Watkins section of the video. She's very enabling. Like I mentioned, Garan is doing a Garan Focus on a Designer, where they pick a designer for each month. They already have the list of designers. They have it listed in the description of their Flosstube. So go check out their Flosstube channel. I'll link that channel down below as well, and just look in the description and you'll see the 2024 list. So I'll be participating mostly in that. There might be some months where if I don't have anything from that designer or don't feel like I need a new start because I'm starting a lot of things lately, then maybe I might skip that particular month. But it is a really good way to like get into my stash and pull out those charts that I've been collecting and actually get them started. And then, I'm sorry, I have a hair on me. That probably annoyed a lot of you because you're saying like, get the hair off of you. Okay, so Magazine Monthly, Year of Whips, 25/7, Countdown to 50, Focus on a Designer. And then I'm going to do a monthly rotation. So I've been doing it this year where every Sunday I have Seasonal Sunday. So I will continue doing that. I will continue working on my montages. They are going to take years at the rate I'm going. They are going to take years to work on. What I might do, I don't know, is I might pick like a random week each season and just like give it a full week's worth of work just to kind of push it forward a little bit more. That might not be a bad idea to do. Maybe not this year or 2024 because I have so many big projects for Year of Whips, but like in the future, because I'm trying to think like I've said it before, but at the rate I'm going, like I work on it every Sunday, and I do want to finish these just because like I know they're bigger pieces, but I do want to finish them because I really like them, and I like to picture them hanging on my walls. But they're gonna take years. I work on it every Sunday for about 3 months, and then I switch to the other one. So it's basically the season, right? And I get maybe 4% done. At that rate, it's going to take me 30 years to finish these. So I'm going to need to figure out ways to like kind of push them forward a little bit. So seasonal Sundays, every Sunday, I will still continue working on my montages, just like I've done this year. And then I've really missed working on my HAIDs on a regular basis. So I did that very well last year. This year, I didn't really do that, and I really did miss them. So I'm going to do something similar to Seasonal Sunday, a little similar. I have 4 main HAIDs that I am working on. It's Cat Alphabet, it's Cardinal Cottage, it's Purple Rain, the Prince piece, and what is the other one? I'm blanking. Stitching Shelf, the biggest one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one. So I think the first one I picked is a Stitching Shelf, and I will give it a 3-day rotation for the first 3 months. So we'll get a total of 9 days of work this year, and then I'll put it away after those 3 months, and then the next quarter I will pull out the next one, April, May, June, which is probably Purple Rain because Prince's birthday is in June, so I think I timed it so I'll work on Purple Rain for 3 months, giving a 3-day rotation each month. And then Cat Alphabet, because I use Cat Alphabet for my Tour de France, which is a full coverage challenge in the month of July, and that will count doing the Tour de France will count as my rotation for the month of July, but then the other 2 months I will give it another 3-day rotation each month, and then September, October, July, I don't know, and then I'll switch it up. Anyway, you get the idea. My months are off somehow. But so those are my plans coming up. So a lot of my acrostics and themes will be based around what do I need to accomplish for Year of Whips. A lot of them need a lot of work yet. So that's my plans. I hope this made sense. I sort of feel like I wasn't making a lot of sense, but let me know if you have questions. Like I said, I think the most important thing is if planning doesn't work for you, don't do it. There is no rules that say, I think a lot of stitchers enjoy planning as a hobby. And so sometimes I feel like people who aren't big planners feel like that they should have to plan. You don't have to. There's no rules, right? So you don't have to plan if that doesn't work for you. If you want to try planning to see if it helps you, just try it for 1 week and see how that goes and adjust. And if you need help or you need somebody to look over your goals or your plans or anything, I'm happy to help do that. I love doing that. I've done some coaching and goal setting coaching. I am not a professional, but I have done some just like in previous jobs and stuff, just as an aside. So I love doing that. I love helping people kind of set goals that work for them and meet their goals. So if you have any questions or if you have any other tips that you would like to leave in the comment section down below, please leave those tips and read through the comments because people are so, there's just so many smart, wise, generous people in this group. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you next time. Bye.